So, Charlie, do you accept The View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to neo-Nazis. But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around.
Charlie Kirk just hit Sunny Hostin and The View with a jaw-dropping $100 million lawsuit, and it's getting messier than your grandma's mystery casserole. The political firebrand claims serious defamation, and he's not pulling any punches. With receipts in hand, Kirk is ready to take this battle public, and it's already starting to look ugly. Let's break down this explosive showdown without the snooze-worthy legal jargon, shall we? Charlie Kirk, part activist, part provocateur, and full-time headline magnet, is basically a walking political spark plug. He's made a career out of stirring the pot, and now he's aiming straight at The View. That show, a spicy mix of daytime drama, bold opinions, and celebrity chatter, has always been a hotbed for fiery debates. But this time, the ideological fireworks have turned into a full-blown legal inferno, and it's looking like the sparks are just getting started or than a reality TV breakup. What did Sunny say that pushed things this far? Can she weather this legal and media storm? Buckle up, because this courtroom drama is heating up fast, and the fallout could shake daytime TV to its core. Stay tuned, it's far from over.
We're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with it. And the reason they felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit this last week.
Charlie Kirk just rocked the media world like a toddler on a sugar high, dropping a $100 million lawsuit on The View, with Sunny Hostin squarely in his sights. This isn't just legal action, it's a full-blown media spectacle that has everyone grabbing their popcorn. After all, when someone demands 9 figures from a daytime talk show, it's clear things have gone way beyond casual disagreement. Whether it's outrage or courtroom binge-watching inspiration, Kirk's move is bold, loud, and impossible to ignore. Now the question is, can Sunny and The View handle the heat, or is this storm just getting started?
Charlie Kirk took issue with this depiction of his organization. Kirk maintains that Turning Point USA is not affiliated with anti-Semitism or white supremacist. In a strongly worded tweet, the 28-year-old stated, "Talking to lawyers, many think we have a strong case. You cannot smear minors as and get away with it. It impacts them for the rest of their life. Hashtag sue The View." That's when TPUSA went all in. The organization changed its profile pic on Twitter to hashtag sue The View, posted a number of tweets condemning The View and demanding an apology.
Let's break down this explosive showdown without the snooze-worthy legal jargon, shall we? Charlie Kirk, part activist, part provocateur, and full-time headline magnet, is basically a walking political spark plug. He's made a career out of stirring the pot, and now he's aiming straight at The View. That show, a spicy mix of daytime drama, bold opinions, and celebrity chatter, has always been a hotbed for fiery debates. But this time, the ideological fireworks have turned him into a full-blown legal inferno, and it's looking like the sparks are just getting started.
They have nothing else to talk about. Maybe you should get the lawyer that worked on that Covington Catholic school case. What was that, a $200 million settlement? I think, Charlie, you could use the money, and your students definitely could too. Tell us.
So what exactly sparked this $100 million legal firestorm? What did The View say that pushed Charlie Kirk from Twitter tirades to full-blown courtroom warfare? It wasn't your average daytime chatter about the weather or red carpet fashion. Fails. This was a full-throttle verbal takedown aimed directly at Kirk and his organization, Turning Point USA, during a particularly heated segment. Sunny Hostin, known for her legal background and flair for the dramatic, allegedly made sharp. damaging comments about both Kirk's character and the mission of his organization. According to the lawsuit, she didn't just criticize, she painted Turning Point USA as a hub of misinformation and political mayhem, practically casting them as the villains in a real-life political soap opera. Now bold opinions fly fast on live TV, and Kirk's no stranger to controversy, but this time he claims the rhetoric crossed a serious line, from strong opinion into outright defamation. In his view, these weren't just jabs, they were reputation-wrecking missiles broadcast to millions. With his public image, career, and organization on the line, Kirk decided enough was enough, and just like that, he dropped a lawsuit with a jaw-dropping 9-figure demand, sending shockwaves through the media world.
Now we begin with a shocking apology just a short time ago from the ladies of The View to Turning Point USA. A war of words broke out after the conservative group was rallying the next generation of voters at its youth summit in Tampa, Florida this weekend. And the liberal panel just couldn't help themselves. The group sent a scathing cease and desist letter after hosts on The View suggested that Turning Point had embraced neo-Nazis who showed up outside the event.
Here's the twist. Most lawsuits like this don't end in a dramatic courtroom showdown. The legal world is more strategy and negotiation than legal theatrics. Settlements are common, cases get tossed, and sometimes a public apology is issued. Crafted so carefully it sounds more like political spin than remorse. But when the lawsuit demands $100 million, the pressure skyrockets. Kirk's legal team likely believes they've built a case as solid as a rock concert subwoofer, hoping the massive figure either pushes for a lucrative settlement or scares others into silence on live TV. It's the legal equivalent of saying, cross this line and you could pay dearly. And make no mistake, the message is loud and clear to media outlets and talk show hosts. The boundary between bold commentary and actionable defamation is razor thin. In today's politically charged climate, words aren't just opinions, they're potential lawsuits waiting to happen. Now all eyes are on what comes next. Will The View bend under the weight of legal pressure? Will Kirk's team push for a deal behind closed doors? Or are we gearing up for a courtroom drama that makes daytime TV look tame by comparison? Either way, the stakes are sky high.
Turning Point conference, were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs, and the
I think it's important that every single person that attended that Turning Point, every Republican speak up against these, against the Nazi flags that were waved.
And here's the kicker. Most lawsuits like this don't end in a dramatic courtroom battle. The legal world runs more on backroom deals and quiet settlements than on fiery showdowns. Cases often get dismissed, or someone offers a carefully worded apology that dodges blame like a seasoned politician. But when the number on the lawsuit is $100 million, the pressure is intense. Kirk's legal team clearly believes they've got a rock-solid case, aiming either to secure a hefty settlement or send a warning shot to anyone thinking of trash-talking on national TV. It's a power move that says, cross me, and it could cost you big time. The lawsuit sends a chilling message to talk show hosts and media figures. The line between bold commentary and legal defamation is razor thin. Now, all eyes are on what happens next. Will The View buckle under pressure? Will a quiet deal be struck, or is this the beginning of a political legal spectacle that overshadows anything seen in daytime TV?
Well, on Monday, we talked about the fact that there were openly demonstrators outside the Florida Student Action Summit of the Turning Point USA group. We want to make clear that these demonstrators were gathered outside the event and that they were not invited or endorsed by Turning Point USA. A Turning Point USA spokesman said the group, quote, 100% condemns those ideologies, and said Turning Point USA security tried to remove the neo-Nazis from the area but could not because they were on public property. Also, Turning Point USA wanted us to clarify that this was a Turning Point USA summit and not a Republican Party event. So we apologize for anything we said that may have been unclear on these points.
One thing's for sure, this legal showdown has all the ingredients of a modern media spectacle. Money, politics, drama, and enough chaos to keep even the most jaded news junkie glued to their screens. This isn't just a lawsuit, it's a high-stakes showdown dressed in legal jargon, sprinkled with political fireworks, and served with a generous side of, wait, did that really just happen? When Charlie Kirk dropped his $100 million lawsuit bomb, many expected The View to come out swinging, maybe a fiery rebuttal, a defiant statement, or at least a dramatic on-air eye roll to crank up the ratings. But instead, silence. Not a tweet, not a clapback, not even a carefully crafted PR soundbite. Sunny Hostin and her co-hosts seem to master the art of ignoring a legal grenade like it was just another awkward Monday morning segment. Meanwhile, social media exploded. Twitter transformed into a roast battleground, memes flooded the internet, and late-night hosts scrambled to turn the whole saga into comedy gold. Some dubbed it the most expensive episode of The View ever, while others called it a lawsuit ripped straight from the script of a political soap opera. And honestly, they're not wrong.
Welcome back. You know, in Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me. And it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, the state, the U.S.
Over the weekend, Turning Point USA hosted a riveting event in Tampa, Florida called the Student Action Summit. Outside of the event were individuals waving flags and engaged in other activities. Well, on Monday's show, members of The View made a few comments about it.
The conservative group Turning Point USA has condemned the group of neo and said they have nothing to do with the organization.
Yeah, but where was DeSantis is what I want to know.
But you let them in.
President, open your
You
back
let
door.
them in and you knew what they were.
Right.
So you are complicit.
But let's take a step back and ask the bigger question. Why does this matter beyond the headlines? Why is Charlie Kirk's $100 million lawsuit more than just a splashy legal drama? Because it speaks volumes about the world we live in today, where political feuds don't just play out on social media, they leap off screens and into courtrooms at lightning speed. This isn't just about words or damaged reputations. It's a mirror reflecting a hyper-polarized society where even daytime TV banter can ignite legal warfare. We're watching the clash of free speech, political rivalry, and media spectacle all colliding in real time. Everyone claims the moral high ground, yet the tactics often hit below the belt. And here's the irony. Lawsuits like this don't just settle scores, they can silence voices. When a heated comment on a talk show can trigger a 9-figure legal threat, people may start second-guessing every opinion, or worse, crank up the drama just for clicks. So what is this really about? Is Kirk's legal blitz a sincere effort to defend his reputation? Or is it a headline-grabbing political stunt in a tailored suit? Either way, it's a sign of the times, and the stakes have never been louder.
Her disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right.
Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever they teach. Or
one thing's for sure, this isn't just a legal battle, it's a full-blown cultural spectacle, dragging political polarization and media warfare into the spotlight with all the subtlety of a marching band in a library. And trust me, you won't want to blink. So what sparked this $100 million legal inferno? According to Charlie Kirk, it was a fiery segment on The View where comments made, especially by Sunny Hostin, allegedly crossed the line from pointed opinions to outright defamation. Now, defamation might sound like just another legal buzzword, but it basically means you said something that trashed my reputation and now you're going to pay for it. Slap on a $100 million price tag, and it's clear this isn't about bruised egos. It's about sending a message. Here's where things really heat up. Kirk's legal team claims the comments weren't just harsh, they were reckless, damaging, and delivered with blatant disregard for the truth. It's the legal equivalent of saying, you didn't just spill tea, you lit the whole table on fire. This isn't just about silencing critics, it's a strategic move aimed at redefining what can safely be said on live TV before someone drops a financial hammer. Buckle up, this one's far from over.
Your achievements. How do you like the so-called uneducated now, Sunny?
yeah, and again, by the way, rarely do you get the answer to a question in the question. And her whole question is exactly why there was a rebellion against them.
Yes.
Listen, just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. I always differentiate between knowledge and wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever they teach. I mean, or about North African lesbian poetry. Okay, that stuff's fine, I guess.
Lawsuits like this don't typically end in dramatic courtroom showdowns worthy of Law and Order. More often, they fizzle out into settlements or are dismissed with little fanfare. But with $100 million on the line and the media circus surrounding it, the stakes have never been higher. It's like a high-stakes poker game, with everyone bluffing and nobody willing to fold. Meanwhile, public reaction has been a perfect storm of shock, schadenfreude, and did that really just happen? Social media erupted as pundits, meme creators, and late-night hosts had a field day roasting, analyzing, and celebrating this legal bombshell. For once, a lawsuit didn't just gather dust, it sparked a wildfire of opinions and hot takes hotter than a midsummer barbecue. This isn't just a clash of hurt feelings or headlines. It's a snapshot of a polarized society caught between those who see free speech as boundless and those who argue there should be limits when reputations, or careers, are at stake. This lawsuit is the epitome of canceled culture, political theater, and media sensationalism.
The point I'll say is this, is Sunny, you guys thought that abortion was going to be this like quasi-zealot religious issue. I'm pro-life. If people in the audience aren't, that's fine. What I'm saying though, what gives me promise, and I think we can all agree on this, is that there are other issues that should animate and drive our politics other than this very divisive one. And I was really encouraged by that, Megan. Very encouraged, because the media was forcing this as an up or down vote on a referendum on a highly complicated, very emotional, very personal issue. And it turned out the American people were like, yeah, actually, these other 6 things matter more.
So, what happens next in this high-stakes drama? Will this lawsuit implode under the weight of its own ambition, or will Charlie Kirk emerge victorious, waving a giant check and doing a victory dance? Or perhaps this will become just another media spectacle that fades into the background noise, an epic cautionary tale about mixing politics, lawsuits, and daytime television. One thing is certain though, this saga is far from over. With $100 million on the line, we're watching a story that promises more twists, turns, and shocking headlines than your average soap opera. Whatever the outcome, the stakes are huge, and the drama is sure to keep unfolding. The question now is whether this case will play out in the courtroom or behind the scenes in some quiet settlement. It's not uncommon for these kinds of legal battles to simmer down quietly with a behind-the-scenes deal, or for them to be dismissed entirely with little fanfare. But the media frenzy surrounding this lawsuit, fueled by the astronomical figure and the personalities involved, means this one isn't likely to die down easily, and that's part of the spectacle. This isn't just about a legal dispute over hurt feelings. It's a snapshot of the polarized society we live in today. One side champions free speech with reckless abandon, while the other defends the idea that reputations and careers are at risk when those words go too far. This lawsuit perfectly captures the intersection of canceled culture, political theater, and media sensationalism that defines our current era. At the end of the day, though, this whole saga serves as a reminder. Sometimes the loudest battles aren't fought on the streets or in Congress. They're fought on daytime TV, where the biggest tantrums come with a hefty price tag.